Okay. So I'm going to do this. We're going to wait for some people to come on.
Okay.
You'll be able to, are you on your phone?
Yeah.
So I don't know where you're going to be able to see the comments from because I'm on my
Um,
laptop. Usually on the laptop, they're at the right.
right. I
You
can
can see
turn
the
on.
comments and actually verbally talk to people. But if you want to have a conversation, you need to type from another device.
I,
Um, so I'm just going to wait as people join because we are live and I'm looking for something here. Oh, there it is. That's what I was looking for right there. So I can highlight you there.
Yay.
So as people join, there's a couple of people in my group that are live tonight. So I told them, don't worry about competing with me because this is going to go live.
All right.
And then it's actually going to be a podcast episode as well. I forgot to mention that.
It is? Oh
Yes.
my God.
I think, yes.
You didn't tell me that
So
before.
I shouldn't have told. No, no, no. But listen, this is cool. I don't know if you. Oh, I got to go to the comments. I'm on the wrong thing. So there's Lizette, New England Betty Boop, who is Posh is My Purpose on Instagram.
Oh, hey.
So far, we have 3 people, and just give me a hello or a shout or a emoji, and let me know that you're here. And then we're gonna jump in. This is like chill. Anybody that comes on here, that's why I don't like give questions. I don't do anything negative. I don't do anything to hurt anybody's feelings. So there you go. There's Rhonda right there. She just jumped on. Hey, Miss Rhonda, what's going on? What's going on? So you already know about this young lady. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I'm gonna hit the podcast. Get that
Okay.
started. I shouldn't have told her it was gonna be nah.
I,
No, no, no.
I'm glad I have some water nearby. I'm about ready to pass out.
I've heard so. You're not be nervous. I'm super chill. So we have, I'm gonna say hello to a couple people here. Glow Girl Glow, who is my girl Nikki. Gina Smiles. Hello, Gina. She says, I'm gonna click that. She had, hi, you two lovely ladies. This is still my old name, but know me as Snazzy. Hello, Miss
Oh, yeah.
Snazzy. Hello. Great to see you. So everyone who's joining us, I am so happy you can join us. Of course, I am Leslie, better known as a Reseller's Passion, and everyone here has probably been hanging with me for a minute, or people are here to see Annessa because there are some different names here that aren't usually here. And if you didn't know it, I go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays with just a great collection of people. I'm always interested in hearing people's story. And Annessa, I don't know why she freaks out, but I'm just Leslie. So she gets to see that today.
I know, to me, you're not just Leslie. I mean, I was listening to those podcasts. I'm like, who is this woman? I need to meet her. And I said, but I never will. And look at
Well,
this.
be careful. You never like. I tell this is what I tell people all the time, and I'm gonna say this, and then I'll let you introduce yourself. I tell people, my community. I call people community members. You're not my followers. I'm not your leader. We're side to side. There's no front or back. I'm not ahead of you or behind you. We are equals in all things. So I'd rather you just be a part of my community. But the challenging thing is because I have so many community members, I can't reach out to everyone. So if you're ever interested in getting to know me on a friendlier basis, just keep showing up and reach out to me. The ladies that I'm calling out, they happen to know me. And so that's why I know names. Like Dresden Avenue just came on. That's my girl Margaret. And so if you just keep showing up for me, then I'll know who you are. I love making friends and love making new connections. I'm just an everyday person, a girl from Philly who lives in Delaware, about to head to North Carolina. I have 5 children, married a man with 5, started reselling because of him. And selling on Poshmark changed my life. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So everybody who is joining, Michelle, hello. Thank you for joining us. I am here with Annessa, who is going to be one of my good friends from now on. That'll help her shake off the nerves and just relax, let her know by hearts and all that good stuff how cool we are. And Annessa, tell everybody a little bit something about yourself.
Well, I am Annessa, and my last name is actually Flowers. It used to be Flowers on Instagram, but I have been a nurse for 17 years, mainly ER, post-op, and then I was a corrections nurse for 4 years. That's the last job I had, and that was in June. And then in June, I decided to be a full-time reseller. So I started back in September, just, with kids stuff out of their closets to make a few extra bucks, because I only wanted to work 4 nights a week because I was working midnights and it was so hard. And then I'm not known to stick with anything for too long. And then it was about March or April, and my oldest daughter, she's like, "Wow, Mom, you've stuck with this for a long, long time." Like a long, long time. So I was like, yeah, I kind of have stuck with it for quite a while. But it was the Instagram community. And then when I started doing this, I guess, part-time, and I started listening to your podcast, I was like, this community is really awesome. And I just wanted to be a part of it. And so I kind of hinted around, and my husband said, why don't you just do that full time? I was like, okay.
Nice. So before you go any further with that, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm sorry, I am perimenopausal, and I forgot to put on my fan. So that's how real we are here. I'm serious. Like, I have to have my fan, and I'm going like, you're hot. Why don't you have on your fan? I sleep with a fan. I keep a fan in my office. So before we jump deep into the reselling, you mentioned that you have a husband and you have one daughter. So
I have 3
married. So how long have you been married, and how many children do you have?
I've been married for 20 years.
Beautiful.
Yes. And I have 3 children, and my oldest is 18, and then 16 and 14. I have a boy and 2 girls.
Woo, been there. Woo.
Yeah, it's they're pretty easy kids though. Thankfully, I haven't had many problems. I mean, I haven't had any problems with them. Minor things here and there, but for the most part, I got through motherhood unscathed.
So how are they dealing with everything that's going on with the pandemic? Are they virtually learning, or what's the story?
Yeah. My son was supposed to play football for Indiana University down in Bloomington. He changed his mind and wants to go into the trades like his dad, which is great. And then the other 2 are remote learning.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, trade school is like so awesome. People underestimate. My daughter just graduated from one of the #1 school top great trade schools here in Delaware. She was a certified CNA at 16. So you can't beat that. Electrician, plumbing, automotive, daycare, cosmetology. What am I missing? Chef. Because other daughter went to school to be a chef. So you can't beat that. So that's great. And we'll get through the virtual learning, especially if they're good kids. That's a really good thing that, if it was trouble, then you would be like, okay, I don't want to be home with you.
Yeah, no, it was like, thank goodness I'm home, but they do their stuff on their own, and I help them. I've written a couple papers because they know I'm good at that. Very, very small papers, which they, went over and proofread, and we went over together. But so they do their own learning by themselves, and finally got over that little kid hump. Like my next door neighbor, she's got little ones, and I'm like, I don't know how you do that.
I know. It's like, because you see there, Sarah Stiles has collected a group of us to participate in this resellers giveaway, and I just did this big message and shared it around because I know how people feel. Like my husband and I collectively have 10. He has 5, I have 5, and our 2 youngest are 18. They're both during their first college semester virtually. So this is the first time in 24 years that I have not had any children in school. So it's so weird to say that, but I'm so happy about it because I just hear everybody stresses. But I homeschooled for 8 years on purpose, though, way before virtual, when I had to come up with my own curriculum. So I feel for people. I totally get it. Yeah. And I just want people to know they have support. So it's really great when you can go, I don't have to worry about that.
Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah, because I have patience, but they run kind of thin. So I have to enjoy something in order to have patience. And I don't know why I would even say that, because I went to college like 1,000 times. I have 3 college degrees, and I think I went to 9 colleges.
Wow.
Collectively.
At least you finished, right?
Yeah. I didn't graduate from all of those, but when the kids were little, it's like I just always wanted to be doing something, and it just proved to be too hard, so I had to quit. But it worked out. So I'm, whatever. I still got a ton of debt, but we'll work on that.
Let me tell you something. We do talk about debt. Like my good friend, if you're not following Glow Girl Glow, who is right there, Nikki, she actually reached out to me, and I'll tell you, that's how important it is to reach out to me. She reached out to me in February and just said she wanted to start going live on Instagram. And I said, just go live. And she started that. And I just watched her journey where she actually teaches budgeting just from her own personal perspective. Okay. And it's grown from there, though. She goes live every Sunday at 8 p.m.
Okay.
Eastern Standard Time, and she's created a budget planner and everything. So
Mhm.
if you have goals to get out of debt, it's very
Yeah,
simple, you know,
I do.
but debt will be there, you know,
Yeah.
like it's, you know, eventually we leave and, you know,
Mhm.
we don't want to leave it to anyone else.
Right.
But
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
you still want to live and you still want to enjoy. Debt comes with some things, you know, so
Yeah.
you have to balance like living a life and taking care of the debt where
Right.
you can. And that might not happen until after all of your children have left home, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I'm noticing that. We weren't really big budgeters. I mean, we were blessed to have two, skilled jobs, and
Mhm.
then we kind of just did whatever we wanted and wondered why all these other ladies were stay-at-home moms. It's
Yeah.
like because we don't have a budget. And yeah, so now
Yeah.
whenever I go to the store or buy something, I'm like, wow, that's like 5 t-shirts that I gotta sell. That's a
Mhm.
lot of work.
Mhm.
You
Well,
can't have
that's
that.
good. That's
Yeah.
good though, that you have that perspective now, because that's what Nikki uses her money specifically reselling for, because she also works for the Postal Service.
Okay.
But she's currently on COVID leave because her son is virtual learning.
You're right.
So it's crazy.
Yeah.
So now to segue back, since you were talking about the 5 t-shirts,
Mhm.
your husband was like, okay, why don't you do this full time?
Right. Yes. So I started the end of June, and I had no routine whatsoever. I was doing it like basically 24/7, just trying to figure out what the heck I was doing, trying to figure out some patterns. But my inventory system was crud. Well, there wasn't one. There was no semblance of a system. So every time I sold something, which wasn't a lot in the beginning, I would have to dig through everything, and there'd be clothes everywhere, and it was just terrible. And there were literally clothes everywhere, so
Wow.
badly that my son, this was probably a couple weeks ago, he comes running in the morning. I'm sitting in my second dining room, my formal dining room in the front, and he's like, Mom, you'll never believe I had this horrible, horrible dream. I'm like, what was it? And he grabs some papers, like, I got to draw this. And long story short, he was being chased by some, crazy people. And in order to save his soul, he had to jump into the side of a mountain, which was actually a giant pile of clothes.
Giving your son nightmares. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
basically, I have
That's
given my son
hysterical.
nightmares.
That's hysterical. Hey, Patricia, thanks for joining us. I'm pretty sure you know Trish Fan 99.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Wendy Span just jumped on. Hey, friends. Thank you for
Hello.
joining us. There's Terry Lynn. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I would turn my chair, but
Um,
I don't know how, and I don't want to lose you.
I know. Are you holding on to your phone?
Yeah,
You can lay it on, because I can tell you're like moving.
I know. I'm gonna set it. Well, I was so ill prepared because I was so excited about everything, and then I was like, "Oh, I got to figure out how to get on."
Yes, I forgot to tell you, because that's
There.
why I send instructions. But I tell you can actually, if we do this again, or if you go on someone else's live,
Yeah.
you can actually go in before the day of and see what you look like background. You can set your name
Okay.
and everything. So
There.
the way you came in, you
Right.
won't see me, but you can enter the room and everything and
Okay.
see what it feels like to go in. But this was a
Gotcha.
great, that's why we went on a little early.
Yeah,
And it makes
and
perfect
here I
sense
got
now, right?
I know it, and well, this ring light makes it look like I really don't know how to put my makeup on. So excuse the highlighter.
Well, no worries, because I don't wear any. So all you see is my acne anyway.
Well,
So
you don't need to though. Look at you. You don't need
the little
to.
hair that grows in is gray because I haven't shaved. So it's like that,
I know. Well, my days are.
um, so
I hear you.
so initially, how did you start? How did you get started reselling?
Just my daughter had clothes from her closet, and she brought a giant pile into the foyer that's right by that room that I use for my Posh room. And she's like, "Here, do you want to sell these?" I'm like, "Okay." And I remember seeing a Poshmark commercial, so I just loaded it, downloaded the app, and I did that. And because I was doing Facebook selling, and I was I was trying to be nice and meeting these people every which
Right.
town around me for
I
$5.
know.
I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But I liked the cash in my hand. I was like, I kind of like this. So yeah, that's basically how it happened. And I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Ever since I was little, like the portion plates that I mean, they're just very basic things, but they're called portion plates for dieters. I invented that when I was 9.
Yeah.
No joke. I had it in a notebook. And then I actually invented, I wouldn't say it's an invention, but I had a business partner. This was about 4 years ago. It's a hand washing stamp, and it goes on like the commercial soap dispensers, and you push it like this, and
Right.
it would stamp your hand, and then you'd have to scrub according to the CDC guidelines to get the stamp off. But the friction and the time,
Nice.
And I had lawyers and I had it all set up. And then my partner had to bail for whatever reasons.
Oh, that would be so perfect now. Now you're probably thinking about that now. Like, how perfect would that be?
Yeah, it kind of was perfect timing, but it didn't work out. So if I had gotten that going, I wouldn't be here.
Well, everything happens for a reason. We arrive at every place for a specific reason. Sometimes in life it's hard to hear that, but that is why we meet people. That's why we, resell. That's how we meet our spouses. There's a reason for everything, whether you accept it or not. And we're here today. So if you weren't reselling, we'd never have met.
I know. And you know what? That's what I was going to say. I would never be here. And you know where I would be? I would be lonely in a mansion somewhere because I would have been richer. But rich isn't where it's at. It really is not. I've over the time learned, it's family, it's connections, it's helping other people that need your help. And this is just a perfect way to help the environment, to help out. I mean, I've given clothes to people when they needed them. I've donated to the school to give them clothes. I mean, it's still a fun way because I get to do the Instagram stuff. I get to, help people out. I get to save the environment and I get to shop and have fun. And I remember at work one time, somebody said, to me, why are you here working as a nurse in a jail? You look like you should be on YouTube doing makeup stuff. Like, I always wanted to, but nobody's ever offered me that position before. They're like, well, why don't you just do it yourself? I'm like, I can't do that. Yeah. Well, look at me, I'm on YouTube.
See, there you go. That means now that's the next step because you're already lining yourself up for that. We're going to talk about some of that in a few minutes. I'm going to say hello to some of our friends who have just jumped on. There's Tasha, Jennifer Jones, McIntyre, the Grateful Queen, who is Quimby. If you are not following Quimby, you should be following her. She has an awesome YouTube channel. She just dropped a couple videos about ThreadUp and Jomar. And she is on YouTube as the Grateful Queen. And Quimby will be on with me next week, not as the Grateful Queen, because she's been on here and on the podcast as the Grateful Queen, but she is I keep forgetting the name, Quimby, but she is a psychotherapist, I think, during the day. Her alter ego is a reseller, but during the day. So she just started a new YouTube channel called The Grateful Therapist. So we're going to be talking a little bit about reselling too, but I also like the fact that I like to bring people on that have other stories to tell because even though, yes, I'm a reseller, that's only one of the things that I do.
Right.
My name, A Reseller's Passion, just describes everything that I'm passionate about. So when people come to my channel, they're like, why isn't she, if I'm not unboxing today, I might be baking today. Right. Or I might be talking about Pinterest or something else like that. So when they see me, Leslie, they'll think of everything that I love and brings me joy every single day.
Right.
Yes, everybody give the thumbs up and continue to watch. I am literally only like about 800 away from being monetized. So keep on watching, keep in the background, turn it on and listen like you're on a podcast or something. It may be 1,000 pennies, but I'll take it.
Well, there was that thing where it said to buy commercial space on the podcast. And I was like, how do I do that? Like, well, what am I going to put on there? Oh my gosh, I just wanted to meet you so bad. I'm so thankful to be here. But I love your heart. I love how diversified you are and how giving of yourself you are. It's just, it's such a beautiful thing to watch. And, like I said, when I first started this, it was not, I was there playing with clothes, but I turned on this random podcast and I was so drawn in by you that I really just wanted to be part of this community. So I mean, I know you probably don't want to take the credit for it, but you are part of the reason why I am here.
Well, I appreciate that. So many people say that all the time. But that's why I started. Like, I only started January 19th. The podcast started like 4 months after that. But January 2019, because I had just become a full-time reseller myself, and I was really lonely. So that's when the journey started. But YouTube really wasn't the place. So I just spread my wings on Instagram. And my husband was like, you have to keep going because we would go to all these posh fests. Well, he didn't go to posh fest with me, but these posh and sips and lives and things. And people were starting to know me and come up to me and everything. And that's such a great feeling. But the thing that's important for me is what you just said, the people who it is in a way that I touch, like, I'm just myself. And that's the thing that's important for me to show up every single day the way that I started and just kind of just pour into people the way that they pour into me. So people don't realize that they're constantly pouring into me. So when you show up, I show up. And that's the way that it works for me. I just love this community and I just love everyone's story. No one's better than another person. And I never let anyone think that they're above to me, I see you. And
Yeah.
that's just the way that it is. And the joy that you bring me. Look at that beautiful smile. So,
No, really, I just, you don't really, I mean, everybody's so busy with their lives, but
yeah,
you're so invested, and it's
yeah,
like such a refreshing, nice
yeah.
thing. And, people gravitate to you, and that's,
Oh.
it's gotta feel good. Cause,
Well, that'll kind of be you, because what happens is what I'm doing partially, it is some of it's financial,
mhm,
some of it's to make friends, but to also what I'm doing is preparing myself to fulfill the gap when my girls leave.
mhm,
I have a 22-year-old who's home. She'll be 23. She's on the spectrum, very high functioning Asperger. So she'll
mhm,
be able to leave, but hopefully she'll still be close enough for me to, help her and then her siblings when I'm no longer here. But then
yeah,
my 18-year-old, who is the squeaky wheel that's always mom, she
yeah,
just, mom, mom, mom. So when she leaves, there will be a gap. So what I'm doing is preparing myself, which I did even when they were young, when they were home. When I homeschooled, I always made sure I had something. I had two businesses then,
right,
something to fulfill my heart, because I knew eventually children go on. It's never been my desire. I've never asked my children to stay home. I've never asked them to go to school close. I want them to go and fly off.
right,
And so while I'm preparing them, I'm also preparing myself. And so the things that are leaving, the community fulfills and brings to me. You know,
right,
so that's been a lot of fun.
yeah,
Just getting to know people, and also like people with young children. That's why I say, like, any advice I can give you. And it seems like I'm doing a lot, but behind the scenes, I have about 20 businesses.
I
I'm
know, I
starting a
know,
new project that's about to come out. So
wow,
both of my girls are unemployed right now. So I'm like, if you don't find a job in 2 weeks, my youngest, she was let go from her CNA job. If you don't find a job in 2 weeks, I need you to do the analytical stuff, and the other young lady take photos and steam and
yeah,
stuff. Because I
right,
have something else that is not even reselling related that's about to drop next week. So
wow, I can't wait to
I
see
have
what
a lot.
this
I do
looks like.
one-on-one consultations. I have a Zoom
Yeah,
chat. So I do so much, and it's like I do it also, and I continue to talk about it so that people can understand that yes, we love our children, we love our family, but as individuals, it doesn't just have to be females. We have to have something for ourselves.
yeah,
If you believe that you shouldn't, then you are hindering yourself. Your family has nothing to do with it. I don't care if you even have a newborn baby.
right,
If you have a significant other who helped you bring that baby in the world, you should be able to say, what I'm
absolutely,
saying, I need
yes,
a half hour a day.
right,
That's a good amount of time. That's a shower or taking a bath, maybe
yeah,
drinking or just laying your head down. But
right,
everybody needs and deserves self-care. So
right,
I continue to talk about that regardless of, what's your relationship. I love my children.
hmm,
I have a granddaughter. I love my babies, but I
yeah,
do like not having to report to anyone and worry about
right,
them and that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
it's fun. I'm 51,
I
look.
know. I'm almost right there with you. I'm 47. So,
Beautiful. So
and
let's
my
go.
fan is over there too. I need to get my fan on me.
Go
I
get
have an
your fan.
industrial
Go get
painter's
your
fan.
fan. Go get it.
Somebody come
Sure.
get my fan.
Yes,
You're
that's
old enough now. You got two legs. Come on,
bring that fan in.
bring me that fan.
The ladies over here understand. Don't you understand, Rhonda? We understand. Wendy understands about that. We
Yeah.
understand. Rhonda's what? I'm not going to yell your age out, Rhonda, because I forget. But I know Wendy's 53. Lizette is 50. Quemby, did you have a birthday? You're 44. And then all the other young people over here.
You know all their ages too?
They're all everyone that I'm talking to is in my private group.
Oh
So
yeah. Right. Right.
a friend
Yeah.
of mine.
I guess
She's
I
not
could
in
do
my
the
group,
same.
but I
Right.
Margaret. And my husband says the same thing. Hello, Sammy. My husband says the same thing. He's like, how do you know these people? Because I develop relationships. It's really important for me. And
Right.
that's why if you continue to just show up for me, then I know who you are. 20,000 people, I can't do it.
Right.
Some people are just showing up every day and maybe commenting, but the
Mhm.
people that are here every day, I build relationships. It's really important to me. So
Right. Right. I
did
hear
you
you.
get
I
your
hear
fan?
you.
Did it come? Did it arrive? Did you get your
What?
fan? Did you get your fan?
Oh no, I'm too afraid to leave. I don't. I know. And then, well, I told
So
him, I said, don't come in here when I'm on my YouTube live. And so now I'm like, oh, I regret that because
I
I
know.
need something.
Yes. My husband, he totally understands now, because we a couple months ago we were doing a chat together. We're probably going to do it again, called Tucker Talk. So it's a couple episodes
Oh, okay.
where he and I talk about all kinds of stuff. Okay, so Rhonda's 60. I didn't want to get it wrong.
I knew. I didn't want to say though.
I knew it, but I was like, because you were just talking about it, I didn't want to do it wrong. So yes, And then Margaret says, "You understand the IVS meds? Yes,
Hmm.
those hot flashes are no joke at
Yeah,
all." So
especially with
go ahead.
this wig on.
We're going to get to that in a minute. Um, that's why I just let it go. Do what it's going to do.
Well,
Um,
and I might, but my head is a little tiny pinhead, so I don't think it would look. It literally is. Because my daughter, she's like, "Oh, you can wear that mask that's in the side pocket of the car door, but it's a child's mask." I'm like, and I put it on, and she's like, "I thought so. It fit me fine." My
so
head is really tiny.
it's nothing wrong with that because some people have, fat faces.
Well, it's not always fun having a tiny head because it's like, is there something wrong with her?
Oh
Like,
my
no, I just have a tiny head.
Well, so Terry's right. Yes, lights. Well, that's the thing. Annessa has her ring light, and it's supposed to be like a low light, but
Yeah.
it's definitely doing something. And so my lights are low, and I don't know why. This is the same setup that I've had, but then all of a sudden it's like dark in here. So, but we can see each other. That's all that matters. That I'm
Yeah.
not. As soon as I take this lamp away, look how dark that gets. So, um, it is what it is.
Yeah.
As long as everybody can hear my voice. And as we're going through, if anybody has any questions for Annessa, put them out there. Rhonda says, give us that Beyonce feel. Get that fan. That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Uh, for real, for
I,
real. Listen.
yeah, that's not very Beyonce like, but I don't.
So tell me, so you're reselling and you're full time. Do you like it? And what platform are you selling on?
I do love it. I like it a lot. I haven't been able to do any sourcing because I have too much that I need to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do miss that. And I sell on Poshmark in Mercari, and I dabble a little bit in eBay, but I was getting a lot of fees and I couldn't figure it out. And then the shipping was kind of weird. So I'm like, I don't want to get messed up in that because every penny counts now.
Yeah.
So I basically just do the Poshmark. And then now that I've found sort of a routine,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to get out of bed because I'm a night person and it
Right.
was just so hard to do things in normal business hours. So I finally got that out of my system. And so now I just, in the morning, I'll go package up all my stuff and then I'll start doing my photographing. And then I just bought the poly bags and I just put the inventory where I can find it. So it was very stressful, like I said, for me to try to, I'd make a sale and then I would kind of get sad because I'm like, oh, now I got to tear through all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh God, I just don't know what I'm going to do. If I don't get myself together here, I'm going to have to go back to the hospital because it was easier to, take care of a 911 call than it was to find a t-shirt. I'm like, what the heck? And
that's why, that's why when people kind of get started, they stop because it is a lot of work.
It is.
It's different where if you had stopped where you're doing, it's like, can you sell these clothes and you sold those and you were done? That's what happens to a lot of people. They eventually fall off because they hear about this app. They get excited. I can sell my clothes. And for one or two reasons, they're not going to get what they think they're going to get. So they're like, oh, it's easier for me to give it away than sell it for $25 less than I thought. I've heard every kind of story.
Right. Yeah.
It's good that you made it through.
Yeah. Well, I realized that it wasn't going to be exactly like I wanted it to be or thought that it would be. But it's like I started this and it wasn't, I've gotten over that hump now with my age. It's like, I'm not going to stop because I might be embarrassed because somebody might judge me for it. I was like, I'm just going to, I do what I'm going to do. And I wanted to just prove to myself, it's like, just push through something just one time because I'm a big quitter. That's why my daughter was so surprised that I had still been doing that. I still had inventory and I was still over there photographing. She's like, that's just weird. She's like, you must like this. I said, I kind of do. So after I realized I'm not going to get this much for that and don't buy this just because it says it's worth $500, I'm going to get 25 for it again anyway. So I finally learned a little strategy for myself on, how to sell. So I'm doing kind of quantity over quality. But yeah, so I found a groove finally, and I'm making consistent sales at least, maybe at least 4 or 5 a day, if not 10 or 12 a day.
Good.
Yeah. And they're not always high dollar ones because the inventory that I do have is the inventory that I went and bought like every day in the month of July. I was always at the bins. So I have a lot of things that are just like bread and butter stuff. So like I said, I'm just trying to get rid of it all, and then I'll kind of hone my craft a little bit. But I'm a homebody. I'm afraid of the highway, and I'll tell you that was my
We
biggest
are
thing.
highway twins. We're
Oh,
afraid.
I
If I don't
tell
have
you,
my husband, I don't go, and that's why I'm afraid to move down south.
yeah.
I wasn't always that way. You know when it happened? When I was dating my husband,
Mm-hmm.
then we got married, and I was still living in Philly, which
Uh-huh.
was a 45-minute ride, and I had to get on the highway to
Yeah.
come here. And I would come here, and I would get to him and be like in such a panic. And
Right.
I had to do that for 8 months though, because we even got married when I was still living in Philly, but I didn't want to take my children out of school.
Yeah.
So I hated it. So I do not get on the highway. Like,
Right.
oh my God. So, oh my God, that's it's
Yes.
a shame, but I'm excited that, because there are some people like, I'm just going to go. And I'm like, you know what? We all have our thing. And I try to tell my husband that because he's like, you know, just do it. I'm like, no, if you want to have an accident, then you don't want to ride with me. And that's honest. I've never liked driving, but out of
Right. Me either.
necessity, I do it. I could, if somebody took it away, I would be upset, but I'm a back road girl all day long. I can show you
Yeah.
how to get somewhere. Even when he was living here for 5 years before I met him, and he was like, when I moved here, he was like, how did you figure out that way? How did you figure out that way? Man, let me tell you, he will get on the highway to go to the bin. It takes me 15 minutes to go to the bins. We were shopping there way before I was reselling.
Oh, yeah.
15 minutes, but he'll get on the highway to save 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we get on the highway, and what happens? It's backed up.
Yeah.
Like, why do you go this way? Like, I don't understand it. If you saw how close it was to our house and the way he diverts and goes to the highway, I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel a little bit better. But I want to touch on a couple things that
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah. No, I do
I
not put
still
me on
drive. So for people who, this is not about who's driving where. I still drive. I've been driving for 32 years. I get where I need to go. But even my husband, even he, as we're on the highway going down south last week, he was like, you know what? I'm starting to get a little nervous. I'm like, how the heck are you driving me? Talking about you're nervous. I'm already next to this big old truck over here. So
I know.
so I'm like, seriously. So two things that you said that make you, well, the one thing you said that makes you really human is that you quit. So the reason I point that out is not everyone admits things about themselves. Our community is where we are. So these are the people that we know. But as we go about our life, right, we have different jobs and we meet different people along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see people, even in our family, who bring this perfect persona,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you don't know what they're like. You don't know. Me, you can't, it's seriously, it's not much I can hide. But I love the fact that you were really just transparent about. I am so about 100% transparency. You just don't know. I actually put on earrings and a bra because I'm on here with you. Okay.
Oh.
So
well, I'm
underneath the line here. So like really I could go without, but let's be respectful. And then last couple of weeks, I said, you know what? I'm only going live twice a week now. Let me just put some earrings. And now Sunday night, I'm all scroungy, but let's not get it twisted. I wear yoga pants all day long. I will never dress up to be comfortable in my home. Okay.
Oh my God.
So the fact that you said you quit, I love that.
Yep.
But then the other thing that you were saying is you are getting your own groove. You're working it out and figuring it out on your own. This community, everyone has a voice. And I love the fact that everyone has a voice,
Right.
And you're taking your own mindset and doing what works for you. You feel, you've been doing it for a minute. You're trying to figure some stuff out, but it works for you because another person would say, yeah, that bread and butter stuff is not going to sell.
Oh, yeah.
My husband, he's been reselling for way before I even knew him. On eBay, Amazon. It's probably about 20 years now. And he is still a bread and butter guy. He left eBay and he's on Poshmark and Macari. Oh. And I'm like, you're selling those for what? But he's like, sweetie, I'd rather sell 5 pair for 20 than 1 pair at 100.
Yep.
And that's what I'm doing. The 5 sells from. Whereas other people who will say, I'll wait for that. I'm not waiting because then what happens is you have inventory that's not moving. Right. That's the purpose of selling. Right. And again, this is not against anyone. Mm-hmm. People want that magic number. There is no magic number. You play around and see what happens. Because last year, this time, I had 1,200 items on Poshmark. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting around going, why do I have 1,200 items on Poshmark? Right. And so now I currently have 350 items on Poshmark, and that's where the sales are coming. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you don't have
Yep.
to worry about sharing. Oh my gosh, I got to share 1,200, you know? So I
Yeah.
love the fact that you're figuring out your own thing.
Yeah, because I was comparing myself to everybody and anybody on Instagram, asking a bunch of questions, and then I was doubting myself, and I did want to quit a couple times because then I got a couple people say, "Well, you're a nurse. That's such a waste of
Mm-hmm.
your talent." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I put in 17 years.
Right.
I just am exhausted. I mean, just the mental stress of the ER was." It was a lot. And my mom would always say, I just want to play with flowers or look at books when I work. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
do hard stuff. And, I mean, that was my mom, but, I liked doing the hard stuff. I liked being, in the trenches, I guess. And then I just grew tired because I got older and I just wanted to do something fun and not cute, but just,
Right.
more feminine, or I don't know. I just wanted to be me. And, I was always embarrassed to show that I wanted to be girly and just I don't know. I just want to be me. I guess I never got to be me. And I don't know why I never got to be me, but now I'm being me and this is how I like to be. I like to play with clothes and
See, we're
I like
so
to do
sisters
my makeup.
already. See that you were afraid to contact me. We have so much in common. Because that's the same thing. I mean, your story's similar to mine. I wasn't as deep in the trenches as a nurse, but I was a lunch lady of 300 students every single day. So
There you
high
go.
school at that. High school at that. I was my last 2 years. I was a supervisor, and that when I was 49, and I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. And I only did that as a fallback plan because I'm a professional baker. And when I met Thomas and moved to Delaware, I couldn't find a job that would pay me what I was getting paid.
Yeah.
I was like the top, baker when I was in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, okay, let me take this. It gives me benefits and stuff like that. But I was like, I don't know how people have been doing this for 30 years.
I
Like,
know.
dude,
Yeah.
how are you parents in your face, administrative kids cussing you? Hello.
Yeah.
So I came up with a plan and I said, I'm going to go full-time reseller. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And everyone has a different story. But what I said earlier is we have to kind of figure out a way to be ourselves and do things for ourselves. Life is such a blink, like it is. Like I feel like I was 16 years ago last year. And then I blinked my eye. All my children were born. I was divorced. I'm here with my husband now, and it's just like crazy. So I think about to those times, I would never take anything else away because that would, delete my children and make them think that they weren't important. So every single point in my life has led me to this spot right now talking to you.
Right.
So that has been an awesome journey itself.
I agree.
We have to rejoice and live life the best way we can. And there are people who like I was talking about like Michelle, how she was talking last night, and Patricia talks about this also, is that we have our husbands are breadwinners, and I would love the ladies to stop saying that because yes, they're no seriously, because then that kind of who you are. You know who you are. So it's not like I'm trying to like get into your situation, but it's like when you say that takes away from your individualism. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To me, there is no breadwinner when there's a partnership. You know what I'm saying? Thomas and I are partners. He's not winning the bread. We're both making money.
Right.
The lights aren't going to go out if I,
Right.
But still, exactly. So that's not the takeaway. It's just like, I think because then what happens is other people who are coming, the newbies, the people who want to mentor, and that's what they hear these things and they're just like the message. And the reason I say that also is because I get a lot of messages every day. The stories that I hear have me sobbing some days, where the husband just does not help, or you know what I'm saying, or they're about to lose their house or whatever the situation. So if you just say, you know what, we're partners, because that's what you are. And if you're good that way, then that's fine. But I just want to let you know you're not breadwinners. You are an individual yourself. You're your husband's partner, and you're both making it work. Because money isn't the only thing that sustains a household or a family.
And that's absolutely correct. Because now, I mean, I'm not going to say that I wasn't happy. I was very proud of myself for the work that I did in the nursing community.
Yeah.
However, was I always happy? No, because I was always tired and I was stressed out because I had to get on I had to get on 2 highways to get to work. And in the wintertime at night,
Where do you live at?
I live in Northwest Indiana. So I live on 80, 94 and 65. And I'm telling you, it was like, 2 minutes from my house, and there I am zooming along with everybody else. And there's, oil flying up on my windshield from truckers, and I can't see anything. And one time I got in a horrible accident because I had people on my booty trying to, make me go faster on the entrance ramp. And I just smacked right into the cement median. And, I woke up and I was like, thank God I'm alive. And ever since then, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do, because life is very short, and my family wants me to be happy, and this makes me happy. So
I love it. And I will say one thing, regardless if you made your decision based on what's currently going on, I will say it's such a horrible thing that we're going on. I mean, there's always something going on. There's always either a disaster that's caused by man, or the disaster that's caused by nature. So there's going to be something in every generation that is this massive, massive thing, But one thing that I know is that families have come together. Now, families have probably split, or, my mother posted a few months ago, she's on Facebook, about like babies being born or people getting divorced, because now you're in that space where normally if you're going to work or whatever, it's like, hi, hello, weekend, and then Monday I'm out of here and I'm around people that are not my family. But this is really forcing us to find out who we really are, who we are in the midst of everything that life brings our way. Like, are you partners or are you enemies? Are you that parent that perseveres, or are you just, whatever? So that is one thing that I will say about this. I tell people, it makes me sad sometimes, because I don't like, people are like, oh, I'm going to have family time. Michelle will say, I'll have family time. Beautiful, because there are no, we don't have that. My kids are older, so it's not like can't force them to, let's sit watch, like when they were little, let's watch Bambi. So I don't really have that. My husband and I date each other, but I don't have that family time. The only time I'm really going to see all my kids together is Thanksgiving. It's like those moments that we should be enjoying. If you're home with your family, definitely enjoy it and appreciate it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say shout out, see if anybody has any questions or comments, and then we'll go into the next phase. Do you have a time limit?
Me? No.
Oh, cool. Let me see, because I saw something that Quimby. Oh, I love you, Nikki. Thank you, Quimby. Okay, I think Quimby said something else down here. I appreciate you too, friend. She said something else, though. Everyone's here. The comments go so fast, and I'm pretty sure you see they're actually not as fast as Instagram. Instagram is just like going so quickly.
It says chat 64 comments, but I'm afraid if I touch something, because I hope to get used to this live stuff.
Victoria always she said, "Ha, husbands get the bread and the wives get the butter."
There you go.
Well, I recall a song, I can bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan. It says, yes, I like to change things.
And I do. I'm pretty good at that bacon stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So I love it too, Annessa. Thank you for sharing your vulnerabilities. It brings us closer together when we do.
Yes. Exactly. I will tell anybody anything. So just be aware, because I can go on and on and on.
Yeah. Yes, Wendy, exactly. So if you ever, I don't know, anybody here on the East Coast, if you do that bridge, is a bridge that takes you to Virginia Beach, and it's nothing but water for 4 miles.
Gosh,
nightmare. It's on that list of scariest bridges, or those tunnels. I can't stand going to New York because it's backed up. At least when we went downtown, down south, and went through the Baltimore Bridge last week, it's like really quick going through the tunnel. But New York, the traffic is horrible. So you're sitting in the bridge, and I'm like, it's water over top of our head. That's all I can. That's all I think about when I'm in the tunnel. It's water over there. And then if you go to the tunnel or the George Washington Bridge, and you're like, oh my God, there's water underneath us. So
I know. I don't. You know what? I don't know what it is about me, but I don't even like to go to the grocery store or the post office. I don't want to get in the car. I like to once I start doing something, I don't want to leave. Like if I start doing my photographing or my listing, it's like I'll Instacart. I won't go to the grocery store. I'm like, when's Natalie going to get home so she can take my packages? It's like, is it called lazy?
No, and what I have to do, so that sounds like me. So when when they issued like the stay at home orders, I was so down for it, because my last time going to the grocery, I've been since then, because there's some things that I do kind of give myself like a checklist that I need to do so that I don't have this anxiety. But got really sick in April. And because I didn't have like the fever and a couple other symptoms, my doctor didn't know for sure if I had COVID. But she said home is the safest place I can be. So I wasn't around my children, thankfully. They weren't little and I didn't have to take care of anyone.
Right.
But after that, when I got well, I did not leave my house for a month because it was just that thing. I haven't been back to the Bins. I haven't been back to Aldi. I get Instacart for my groceries.
Yep.
So slowly I'm doing things like even going down North Carolina, we're looking for a house.
Okay.
We were supposed to be moved when our girls graduated high school. That was the plan. We were supposed to be out of our house in the new place the beginning of this month. And because of everything, it's put us behind.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're probably not going to find anything just because I have that whole thing. Like I don't want to be rushed into finding something because we have to move. You know, we haven't given notice or anything. We rent, but we haven't given notice because I don't want to give notice and then we don't find somewhere.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to live. I live in a nice neighborhood. I'm from Philly, so I've lived every kind of neighborhood. Yeah. And I'm 51. I don't want to live in any kind of neighborhood. I want to live in a neighborhood that I want to live in. You know, other people are like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah, you can talk all you want, but I live in a nice suburb." And I don't want to leave my nice suburb to go to the ghetto. And I'm gonna keep it real because I've lived in the ghetto before. You know, when you live in a major city, you live somewhere and you don't know where you are until you're there. And then that was when I was young. My children have never lived in the ghetto, even in the city. You know, so I want to live somewhere nice. So I'm like leaving my house for that. But I did get a chance to meet beautiful people. I met Terry Lynn down there. I always do. Anywhere I travel, I tell people I'm coming. And so we socially distanced and each other was so much fun. So
I bet.
Let's talk about this thing we got here.
Let's do it.
So Annessa has the same condition I have, which is alopecia. And it is an autoimmune disease. There are several types of autoimmune diseases, and mine is hereditary. I have scarring alopecia. I have lichen planopilatus. That's a mouthful, which is scarring alopecia. I passed it down to my youngest daughter, who has a significantly about the same amount of hair loss, but she still keeps hair on her head and she wears wigs. And all of my aunts before me have it, but no one ever talked about it. So all my life, they've been wigging it up and just never said, this is what's going on. I don't care if they're wigging it up. It's just like that would have prepared me for what was about to happen. I feel bad for my daughter because she's only 18. She started at 15. I was 42 when I started losing my hair, you know, so I would have preferred, you know, her to go to adulthood, discover who you are, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that being said, I wanted Annessa on because it is Alopecia Awareness Month. You know, all the things we're aware, and my daughter has hydrocephalus. So she's like, Mom, it's hydrocephalus month too. And I'm like, sweetie, I know that already. Yeah, she was diagnosed at 2 weeks. She was shunted.
Right.
And so she has a shunt, a revision, and a shunt. So
yeah, my aunt had that too. So my aunt actually had well, she had encephalopathy when she was 6, so she has a shunt and all that too. But she also had thin hair. My grandma had thin hair. My mom has thin hair. My sister has thin hair. My daughters have. Oh, my one daughter has thin hair. The other one has the most massive head of hair I've ever seen in my life. And I don't know where she got that from. But yeah, I have androgenic alopecia, which basically is female pattern baldness. And I got a punch biopsy last year, and it showed that my scalp is scarred over. So the little hairs that I do have, I'm able to clip this wig onto. And so underneath this, I don't have a lot going on.
So that's my daughter. And well, let's talk about that because, you know, she started at 15. Like, how do you explain to your daughter, right? So as adults, it's you know, I've come to a place that I'm good, you know, and actually being bold has actually allowed me to be the person that I've been in the last like 9 years. That wow.
And I can see that. I can, because I would love to do that. I'm just not there yet.
That's okay. Like, you're 44. It's okay. I was
47.
47. So, and this is the funny, like the thing also for me, it probably would have been different if it happened like 20 years ago, because the year that I discovered I had alopecia was the year that I met and married my husband.
Oh, okay.
So that was that thing, not having really to do with him, but even just in the dating process, because I had these beautiful dreadlocks and I would date these guys. After I got divorced, I gave myself a year off and then I started dating, and the guys would be like, yeah, you keeping your hair like that? So why is your hair like, and that alone was like, okay, wow. So when I started losing my hair, I was already with my husband, and he was the one who encouraged me to just shave it off because anytime he can put his hands all over my hair, he will. The ladies here know, they're always talking about get a room. They're funny. But so he tells me I have a great head anytime, except for the little dent that I have right here. It goes whoop. But I accept it. I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to get to that place. So, like, tell us a little bit about, like, what are your feelings and what are you working through?
Well, it's been going on. So my mom says no, but I say 14. It's when I took the bottle of sun into my hair. She told me not to do it. I came out with, flaming red and yellow hair. But I'm pretty sure it was around puberty when it happened. I'm guessing that it was probably PCOS, because to be honest, it seems that my girl, well, I know that they do have it. We've been diagnosed in Chicago, and I see the same things in them that I saw in myself when I was their age, but we didn't know. Nobody talked about it. It was just like, oh, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as you say, just, blah, 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 blah. And it was devastating. It gave me huge bouts of anxiety. I didn't want to have any friends. I didn't want to go anywhere. Self-doubt, self-consciousness, until basically, I would say just recently. And that is quite a shame, but, I just didn't, it wasn't talked about. It was just, Grady used to dye her hair white to match her scalp. And that was cute because she was Granny. And then my mom just always, oh, my hair's so thin and I got to cover my bald spot. And I'm like, yeah, I know all about it. But I just, let's see, at 14, it started to get thin. At 25, a boyfriend noticed it in the sunlight that he could see my scalp and let me know all about it. And I was just absolutely humiliated. And that's when I kind of went into my hole and, just stayed out of public view, basically. Wow. And then I got married. It was thicker then. And then I had kids. I wasn't even supposed to have kids. They said I didn't have anything going on in there.
Wow.
So a year without a cycle, I got pregnant. And then my hair started to fall out after the third kid. It just went straight downhill. We had a lot of stress going on in the house, which is all resolved and everything's fine now. But that's when it got super bad. Like you can see every individual hair and you can see the scarring now. And, but back about 10 years ago, I was in the bathroom and I would never look at the back of my head because I knew it was bad and I just didn't want to see it. I only wanted to play with this part up here and cover that up and just, tunnel vision. I just only wanted to see that part. So I could see him looking at the back of my head and, kind of looking back and forth and looking at me to see if I knew that he was looking. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, oh, nothing. I said, tell me. He's like, well, it's very, very thin back there. You might want to look into getting something. And then that just pushed me right back down into that hole that I was put in at 25. And he didn't mean to do it because he's the one that actually found my toppers for me. Yeah. He encouraged me to do it because I was just going to stay, out of sight. I felt so ugly and so hideous and so worthless because of this hair thing. And I knew it wasn't the right outlook, but I could not pull myself out. And, but anyway, we went and, he found these really cool human hair toppers. Back then they would, take my hair and wrap it around a glue band and I'd have to medicate before I would go. And it was super, super expensive. So that took out a lot more hair. And scarred more areas of my hair. And then one day somebody asked if I wanted to try the clip-in and I said, okay. And then that's what I've been doing. But all the toppers that I've had always had a clip right here. And so now I have a big bald spot right there. And then come to current day in April, since I'd been on Instagram because of my reselling, which I'd always wanted to be like a wig spokesperson. And what do you know? I get a message from Uniwigs on my Instagram. I had maybe 2,000 followers at that time, and I got about 5,300 now. So I thought it was a joke, and it wasn't a joke. So they send me, I got my third wig a couple days ago. And so I do Instagram posts and YouTube videos, and I review these wigs, and they've been super, super nice. Well, I mean, at first, though, when they asked me if I would do it, they said, well, you have to show your biological hair. And I was at work and I was in the bathroom and I know that I turned, like the blood just drained out of my face. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. This is, all these people I work with. I don't want anybody to see this. And it's like, is it worth it? And then I had to write back. So I said, I'll do it. Just do it. And I was like, okay. So I typed it in and I sent it. And then I sent the pictures of my hair from the bathroom, took my wig off and sent the pictures. And I came out and my coworker's like, what happened in there? She's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I just did something I think I'm going to regret. And I'll tell you what, it was the best decision I ever made.
Yeah, you just gave me goosebumps with that. Well, before we go any further, which after like tomorrow, after this does it buffers, it takes 24 hours, come back and put all your information in the comments, because we want people, because behind the scenes, there are a lot of people who are dealing with challenges that they don't talk about. And that's why I like to talk about anything that I can talk about and just be as honest as possible. You know, it can be like a challenge because people do think they have the best intentions when they talk to you. Like, I'm bald, you know, so I go to restaurants. I actually went to a Posh and Sip way back in April before we were in lockdown, and washing my hands in the bathroom, and the lady comes in and she's like, oh, you're so brave. And then my thought was, I don't know what I'm brave about, but I've heard so many people, because I belong to different groups and things, and like alopecia, different, you know, awareness groups, and we're bald. So I would hear them tell that story, and no one had ever said that to me. But then as I started kind of just doing more pictures or whatever, people would say in the comments on Instagram, you're bold, you're so bold. And I'm like, no, I'm just bald. I'm bald. I'm Leslie, and I'm just bald. And that's the truth. So that's why I did Am I Really Bald? Because I was like, you know what? Let me just separate and start that other page. I had a whole different vision for that. I actually have a podcast and a YouTube channel. I haven't been doing as much with those where I get into different stories and things like that. But yes, it's really important. So talking about my Instagram page, you have an Instagram page that for, is it for alopecia? Are you talking about it?
Yeah, they, well, Uniwigs, like I said, they've been very patient with me because I didn't know how to do videos. I didn't, you know, I'm all new to all of this stuff. So, as they, let me go ahead and try to figure out what I was doing, they said, okay, well, you know, when you do the videos, then maybe you should like repost them again. I'm like, where? And they're like, well, you have a different Instagram page. You can make it an alopecia page. I'm like, you know, I was like, you guys are killing me here. You know, I already showed my bald head. Now you want me to dedicate a page to my bald head? Like, oh God. And I'll tell you what, it's the best thing I ever did. It's called alopecia
underscore.
Underscore. Yeah, I was like, is that what it is? Yeah. So I've started to just put up the pictures of myself in my wig. I put up a little ponytail picture, but what I want to say, I guess, about this is that, yes, I'm doing it. And should I show more pictures of me with my alopecia? I probably should. But I feel like I've shown it really my whole life. And I've been like not suffering in any way, because I never suffered. I've never suffered in any way that other people have ever suffered. You know, it's not suffering. It was just, that was my worst, you know, my, I guess, echelon of worst in my life. But oh, I just lost my train of thought. That's age. Yes, that is age. And I don't have my fan on. I'm really overheated. My brain is on fire. No, but I just thought to myself, you know what? I've gone through my life so long feeling ugly that I deserve the time that I want to take with myself to be pretty. And it's not the end of the world if I'm not pretty, but I've always wanted to be pretty. My mom was beautiful and I watched her be beautiful. You know, my sister's beautiful. I want to be beautiful too. And so that's what I'm going to do. Even if nobody thinks I'm beautiful in my mind.
I think you're beautiful. So there you go. And then the thing also is, we as a society, and it's just our normal way of thinking, that the physical is the beauty, and it's not.
And it isn't.
If you've lived your whole life giving back and helping people, that's it right there. That's how, those are the people who can, you know, ride with me any day. I prefer that, because when people look at me, they wouldn't see what is beautiful. And so I know I'm beautiful, but it took me a while to get to this place. And I was just saying this when I was talking to Wendy the other day, that, you know, as a child, I would cry to my dad because I look, literally just put a man in my body. I look just like my father, like this face, these lips, this nose, these hands are his. And I would cry, Dad, I hate these lips. He was like, girl, don't you know people pay for your lips? And I probably was about 12. And then I just told him about 2 months ago, reminding him about that conversation. And people are like purchasing these lips and everything. But when I look at myself, I know that I'm beautiful. So am I really bald? For me, was me just, and not poking fun at myself, but going like, you go to the mirror and you go like, wow, is this really happening to me? And I look at myself and be like, yeah, I'm bald.
Yeah.
Am I really bald? So that's my thing. I've been like scribbling together. It's going to take me another 2 years, a little book that I've been writing. But yes, I'm really bald. So
Yeah.
it's just about, regardless of what everyone else is, when you get there and you're ready, that's all that matters, accepting yourself.
Yeah.
And the other part of that is, because we have girls, we have to kind of think about that, because the way that we look at ourselves is the way they're going to be looking. They're not going to look outside, because that's how I always tell my children, love starts here. Everything that you're ever going to need is going to be at home, because the world's not going to give that to you.
Right.
So it starts right down with me, dialogue, being truthful, telling you how beautiful you are. I'm preparing them now so that when that guy comes and tells them that they're that person, they already know it. Right. They already know they're beautiful. They already know they're smart. They already know they're powerful. They already know that they can do anything that they desire and want in their life. Right. And so no one told me that when I was growing up. So all the things that I didn't get, I instill and feed into my children and my granddaughter.
Right.
Society is a crazy place. And the other part that I'm going to say is, we all have our story, and that's another thing I teach my children. And I'm pretty sure you're aware that your story is no more important than someone else's, because someone could be listening to us talk about that we're having these hair challenges, but then they might be thinking about, well, what about the person who's actually going through cancer and they're bald? Or what about whatever the situation is? That is a horrible thing, but this is my story, and I'm not going to let anybody take away from that, because I would never do that to you. I'm empowering you and I'm teaching you. And so when you do have your story and you want to tell it to me, I'm going to say, friend, how can I support you? But I would do the same thing. And then the last thing I'm going to say is, it's like really funny. Like, you never know what you have until it's gone. Right. Like, because I see people, like, one person sent me a message. I don't know who it is. They could be here. It kind of hurt me like a little bit. I think I told Thomas, like, it was probably not her intention. She had this big head of hair. Oh my gosh, I can't do anything with my hair today. Wow, it's like all over the place. So she sends me a picture. She said, oh, it would be great if we took a picture side by side. Now for me, exactly, I felt some kind of way about that. I'm bald, and when I say it was a big old mane of hair, you can't control it. So let's take a picture side by side. Wouldn't it be cool if we take a picture side by side? Her intention was not to whatever, but it got me, and I was like, I don't know how to take that. But then I sit there and I listen to people, and they talk about, wow, I just can't do anything with my hair today. Wow, my hair is just, and I just go in my head, I'm like, at least you have some hair.
I guess that's what I always say. And they're complaining about hair. I'm like, hello. Talking to somebody who has to clip their hair on. So, and it hurts. So yeah. But you know what? I mean, I have choices though. That was the thing about reckoning with this. It's like, you know what? I may not have any hair, but I have all the hair in the world, because I can put on any wig I want, and I can look any way I want. And my hair is always curly at the beach, and there's a lot of positives here. And it is just a journey. Like, I'm finally starting to just own the fact that, I can't just be who I am. I can show my personality, and I have confidence, because maybe I'm hiding behind this right now, but it's a journey. It really is a journey. Just like they say, it's a journey. And right now, this is where I'm at. Yeah. And then one day I might shave my head, and then I'll be completely liberated, because I won't have to worry about clips or glue, or, it being hot on the back of my neck because there's, hair or any of that stuff. But right now, that's not where I'm at. And it's totally okay. It's always, why do you always have to worry about what everybody's thinking or where I should be? I am where I am because I am where I am. And that's it. I'm not hurting kids. I'm not hurting old people. I'm not hurting animals. So I'm good.
And you're going to empower so many people. And that's the thing. Sometimes we go into these directions that we're not aware of. And just like you said, you shaved your head. You didn't even think beyond just getting the piece. You didn't think beyond that. And now look how much it's brought to you. And not just for you, I'm pretty sure you're fulfilled because other people's lives are being touched by your story.
I hope so. Well, I mean, and too, it's you look at people and think, oh, she's got great hair and she's just laughing and smiling this whole hour. Well, I got problems too. Yeah. I mean, if you want to be real, it's probably, contributed to the fact that I do have to take medication. to feel good. Mental health is a big part of my life. I'm not gonna
Just talk
lie.
all about it. Look,
Yeah.
listen to me.
So,
It's
you
really
can just
important
look
that
at
we share
somebody,
all
yeah,
that.
for an hour and think, oh, okay, she's just owning her alopecia and she's just all happy. And, because when this is over, the wig's coming off, the makeup's coming off, and I look like Gollum. I honestly look like Gollum. So, yeah, I mean, we all just are normal trying to get by. And, it's okay to reach out to anybody. You never be intimidated. Like, I mean, we may look different. I have hair on and you don't have hair right now, but and that's just fine. But you're the one that I'm looking up to right now. Somebody else might be saying, oh, look at her, look at her hair. But I'm over here looking at you like, oh my God, I want to be Leslie.
No, don't. Yeah, and that's just be the best Annessa you can be. That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
It just like you said, life is a journey, and I tell people too. I try to get as real as I can. That's why eventually I want to do a little bit more with my alopecia platform. But this platform has allowed me to grow and do so many things in itself. That's been my surprise, and so it allows me each and every day just to, if I'm me and if I show up every single day, just being my true authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
Then someone else. My philosophy when I do these lives, when I talk to people on Saturday on Zoom chats, if you could join us, that would be great.
Yeah, I'd love
to talk about just every day, like my private group. We talk as much as we can. You never know whose life you may have saved today.
Yeah.
From you're just being yourself. I'm putting out funny, posts, but I'm also getting real. The ladies in my group know, like, I talk to them a little bit different. Mm-hmm. It's almost in a sense like a lot of them are like my age, but more from like a mentor. So I wouldn't say they're children, but don't tell me you want to do something because it's on. I'm going to be on you until you do it. If you want to grow and be big, seriously, I'm all about growing and be big and stepping out of your comfort zone. My quotes right there, the flower post, and I have one in front of me. Do the thing that you think you cannot do. 100%, I believe that, and you never know who you're touching just by living your true authentic self. Take time, be who you are. That's all that matters. The people that I care about are the people in the house. No one else is paying my bills.
Right.
I could care less with anybody. And I've always been that way, even with my family. If you're not coming in my house, paying my rent, paying my water, and doing all that, you have nothing to contribute to me.
Right.
I'm going to open up. Anybody have any questions? Anything else you want to add to the community? Because I'm pretty sure it's ladies out there. I'm going to just put up this banner. And then I'm going to go back and see if anyone has anything. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, let's see, what else do I have?
So Quimby said, I'm so grateful to be learning about alopecia. Thank you for sharing with us. Yes, because Quimby is a grief. I don't remember if it's a psychotherapist, but she works with children who are grieving, after challenge. You're a nurse, so from one end, and then she gets them for another. And did you say you are 47? There's no way, Annessa.
Oh, yes way.
Let me tell just a person who looks like she's 35 and she's 53. So Wendy, back on.
I can't wait to go through all these.
Brittany, Quimby says I got goosebumps too. I appreciate this honest sharing. I do too. I believe I'm gonna tell you, Annessa came with her A game today. And I really appreciate it. I think it's really important because she probably was
terrified.
She was really nervous or whatever. I remember I jumped on a live and she practically freaked out. And I'm like, what? I don't know what's going on.
I had sweat dripping down the back of my neck because I didn't have my computer prepared. I was like,
literally 3 people had sent me that because that's why I clicked on it. I was on a live myself.
Oh my God.
And I went to my DMs and they're like, somebody just shouted out your name. And I'm like, oh, it shows that it's still going. Let me click on it. And then I was like, oh, okay. So that's how we met, because you probably were already following me, but it's so hard for me to keep track of everyone. And that's the thing. And so from now on, you won't be able to get rid of me. And,
well, you know what? Because I heard somewhere, it's either on the podcast, like, if you DM me, I will get back to you. I swear to God. And I waited, like I was turning into a skeleton and getting cobwebs. I'm like, where is she? She doesn't like me. What did I do? And then when I saw it, I was like running around the house. I'm like, look who messaged me. Look at, they're like, who is that?
I'm telling
Leslie. They're like, who's Leslie? I said, well, it's only the podcast that I listen to like every day.
No, I'm telling you, half these women on here, their husbands are probably like, what the heck? Like, I just went, my good friend Wendy. Wendy's been hanging with me since I started, like literally within that first month or so, January 2019. And I had a big Facebook group, but it was all over the place and it was getting just out of control. So now I have a
Oh,
small collective group. So
yeah.
she's been one of the people who's been with me for a minute. So she was on the live on Tuesday and she wanted me to meet her husband. So I met him behind stage, like before the
Oh,
live.
nice.
Because I know these husbands are going, who the heck is this Leslie?
Yes. Well, yes. Yeah. But they know now. They know now. Well, yeah, because I'm like,
Rhonda, because like Rhonda's one of my newest friends. Yes, yes.
she is wonderful.
And there's Brittany. Hey, Brittany.
Hello, hello. Yeah, I just went. The first time I went live was with Snazzy Souls about maybe a month ago, and I was in these little challenges and things. I was like, there's no live happening here, not ever. So this is my fourth one, but I've never done a YouTube. So I mean, I anticipated it all day long. I took a shower right before so I could be fresh and and everything, and put my deodorant on because I knew I'd sweat like a hog and smell. Even though I couldn't smell me, I didn't want to smell. And,
I know, like
right, but I mean, I got all ready, like. I'm going I'm gonna meet Mickey Mouse, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, you need a ticket, you need to get there. I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm like, I didn't have my computer ready because I was just so excited. I didn't prepare, and I feel like a twit.
it's fine. It's like all natural. That's the thing that's what I love. And I sometimes, because I have a lot of chats. I'm not really sure if you do watch my videos, but I have a lot. I have like over 50 chat. I have the Spanish girls, the brown.
I saw.
I love doing that stuff. And everybody's like, what are we going to talk about? What questions? I'm like, I'm good. Like, I'm not going to hurt you. I would never call you out, never do anything. Anything that I would never do anything to you that I wouldn't do to myself or my family. So it's always going to be cool. And I want people to just be relaxed about it. Like, I do have a couple people who are coming on in the next couple of weeks who aren't in the reselling community, who actually like have never talked to me. And so that might be a little bit different, but I still also want them to be casual. Because some people come like straight up business. Like I'm going to be on somebody's podcast tomorrow. So when I'm on other people's podcasts, I don't know how to act either.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah.
Well,
I mean, it would, I would say that for me, it was kind of like, well, who wants to watch me? Like, I'm still in that stage, even though I'm almost 50. It's kind of like I have to like shake it out of me. Like, if people say they enjoy watching me, say thank you. Don't be like, oh, I gotta stop that. I really do, because if I do have something to offer,
my ladies tell her, don't even start with me. Don't even start. Like, I'll be calling you out every day now. Like, okay, everybody, this is Annessa, seriously, because this is the thing. It's like, whatever. Look at some of the posts that I just put out, like self-sabotaging. I do that. Like if I have a conversation with someone, or if I see something that people post, a lot of the information that I put out, unless it's specifically about me, is because I've scrolled through Instagram. Instagram is like my homework. I specifically, strategically go through Instagram. And that's how I get information on what to teach and to post. Some people, they get freaked out about it, but I'm like, I'm in business. I don't care what anybody's talking about. Like, that stuff don't bother me. Like, I don't go off of Instagram. Even if I'm off for the day, I post at least 2 times a day because it keeps me engaged. It keeps my engagement up. And that's what I try to tell people. Stop looking at the other stuff. Think about like, my business can grow. And so I love hearing what people have to say. I love contributing. I'm all about dialogue. I'm all about growth. And with me, don't say you can't do it. So like the group that I'm in, the group that I have, literally only a couple ladies had gone live. Like before I met Rhonda, like Rhonda was already doing her lives and I invited her to come to the group. But none of the other ladies. So what I got them all on a Zoom call and I said, this is what we're going to do. You're going to get partnered up and everybody's going live. And that's what I said. So they did it though. They had to pick their own partners. They had to pick a topic and everybody had to go live and had to switch. So like you and I would switch. So that means now you have to have me on your Instagram live.
Okay. Oh wait, what?
That's the reaction right there. See, I got what? That's exactly.
Somebody give me the pan.
Did I get her, ladies, or what? See, that's how you do it. And they were the same way. Like, oh, so you want us to go live? So after they did that for like 2 weeks, I said, okay, so the next thing you have to do is everybody has to put out an IGTV video. So it's like, and that's just my personal group. They know me. I'm like pushing them. I'm helping them. Like if you say you want to grow, I want my Instagram to grow. Like, how do you want it to grow? How do you want it to grow?
But I can't do it
from engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
you want to be like me. You want to be like me. How are you going to be like me? Like I'm just an everyday person
Not
who
with that
sat on a
attitude.
red chair and said, "Hey, I'm Leslie." You know, like
Yeah.
I'm no different. I tell everybody take the middle out of it and go all the way to my beginning, and that's how you get started. Like Dresden Avenue, who's Margaret. She actually sent me a message after she watched my first video, and she still said, "Oh, Leslie, I'm afraid to do a video." I'm like, nah, just do it. Next thing I know, she was doing a video, and I had a giveaway. I challenged everybody in the community to make a video, and I did a giveaway of a nice tripod. So that's how you do it. But yes, so we can set a date, and
Oh my God, you're killing me. Look at my face. Okay, process. Okay, girl. Annessa.
So ladies, okay, where's everybody at?
Oh, this is the best. See, I need
Oh
somebody
my
because I'll be the first
gosh.
one to be like, I have no friends.
So, oh my
Like,
God.
yes, you
Quimby
do.
said, I
Like,
think
this
we're
is
all afraid.
you're
A
the
lot of
friend
times
I'm
the
afraid
trick
of.
is
That
to
you do
keep
things.
showing up. Yeah. So what Quimby is true. So that's exactly how I live my life. I live
Showing up. Yeah.
I start off with fear, but I know that faith and everything else that I'm waiting for is on the other side. In order for me to get to the other side, I got to travel through everything that makes me afraid to get there. And that's where the goodness is on that other side. So if you think about that, that's like when you're getting married and you're at the end of the aisle.
Yeah.
And there may be some people in the audience that you just don't like. Oh my God, that cousin that I had to invite or whatever. But when you get down to, you can see your groom at the other end of the aisle, and you just walk straight ahead through all the mess and confusion and bad cousins and bad relationships. And then what you're looking for is right at the other end. That's all that matters. If you just keep saying, looking for it. Yeah. So,
well, that's
anybody
what's going on my board. I have this vision board, and
you see mine right there. Look over my head.
I see that.
My table's a vision board too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my next thing, and Fiji's going all over it, but that quote's gonna go right on the top.
Yeah, mine is Ireland.
Wow.
My table that I'm sitting at, which is my prep table, is a huge. I just made it a vision board. So every day as I'm packing my packages, I see everything, and I've accomplished at least half of those things.
Oh wow!
Some of the things haven't worked out just because of this year I was supposed to be a speaker. Like I have another goal board, speak on 5 stages, all kinds of stuff.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's so many different things.
My horizon then, because all I have is Fiji on my board. Wow.
As you think about it, it'll happen for you. 2020, like 2020 is almost over. So 2021, set some new goals, set some monthly goals. But you're here, and Annessa, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to tell you how much I appreciate you. One, how beautiful you are. Two,
oh my God, Leslie said I'm beautiful.
You are. You seriously are. Like on the outside and on the inside. And I tell people all the time is like if no one ever told you that you are, and if no one's ever validated you, I validate you, friend. I appreciate you so much. And everything just sharing. So now you got a new stalker, so I'll be stalking you. But no, if you ever need anything, send me a message. Aww. And then I'll be waiting for you to send me a DM of when we're gonna go live on your
Oh, now the tears are sucked back and horror has set in. Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to do this. Thank you.
You got it. But I thank you so much. I do. I really appreciate you. Just keep doing what you're doing when you're for it. It'll all be there for you. It'll all be there for you.
Awesome.
Friends, thank you for coming. I appreciate you so much.